Welcome to Mr. Disturbing. Tonight, we're plunging into the dark heart of the Appalachians with some truly unsettling true horror stories. That'll keep you up all night. If you're brave enough, smash that like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next descent into fear. I'm 32 years old. I've hiked with the same 3 friends since we were teenagers. Every fall, same trip, new woods. This year we picked something deeper, wilder, farther off any trail. Ben found it on a map. Unmarked ridge, sparse elevation lines, no water source, no cell signal, no campsites. Perfect. We hiked in with gear. 3 miles from the car, thick woods, orange leaves, the smell of soil and bark and coming cold. We made camp near a small rock outcrop. Fire ring, tarp lean-to, clear sightlines. We knew how to do this. That first night we drank, laughed, told the same stories again, but quieter, because the woods felt close, not threatening, just attentive. We went to sleep early, all in our own tents. I woke around 2 a.m., something light, a sound, a whistle, short, 2 notes, familiar. I sat up, waited, nothing. Then again, faint, distant. The direction was wrong. Behind the rocks, not near the fire. I whispered Ben's name. No answer. I unzipped, stepped out. Cold air, no wind, no firelight. Just that sound again, closer this time, but still wrong. A little too long, a little too wet. I turned toward it, my boots soft on the leaves. I called again, quiet. Still no answer, but the whistle returned. Same tone. But now it ended with a breath, like whoever made it exhaled through their teeth. I stopped, waited. Then I did it. Our rule, our fallback. I whistled once, sharp, fast, then waited. A beat, 2. Then came the reply. Same notes, same rhythm, but too slow, as if someone trying to remember how it sounded. I took a step back, turned toward camp, and saw nothing. No fire, no tents, no trail, just trees, taller than before, closer than before. I called again. My voice vanished into bark, into soil. No echo, no breath. Then came another whistle, but from a different side, then another. Same notes, from behind, from above, from below. Each one just slightly wrong. Bent, like a voice that learned sound by ear, not meaning. Then, silence. I didn't run. I couldn't. I just stood there, feet numb, mouth dry. Then I heard it, footsteps, not fast, not slow, just learning, copying, and somewhere between the trees, a voice, mine, whispering back, "Whistle once, wait." I turned slowly. The steps stopped. I called for Ben again, but this time my voice didn't feel like mine. It shook in the wrong place. It echoed without direction. The woods gave nothing back. Then I saw him, just ahead, standing still between 2 trees. His shape, his jacket, his boots, but not his face. The shadows covered it, too perfectly, like a mask the trees helped hold. I stepped forward. The leaves didn't crunch. The cold thickened. I raised my hand. He didn't wave, didn't flinch, just spoke. One word, my name. But the timing was off, like someone lip-syncing an old recording. My name came before his mouth moved, or maybe after, or maybe both. I took one more step, and then he turned, not away, inward, like folding into himself. And the space he stood in darkened, not by shadow, by memory, like light refused to land there again. I stepped back, my own name still hanging in the branches, and then I heard another voice, different, farther left. "Over here." It was Daniel now, but too clear, like recorded in a studio, no texture, no breath, just waveform. I turned and saw him crouched by a stump, smiling, hand raised, but the smile didn't touch his eyes, and his eyes didn't blink. I blinked, and he was gone. Same stump, No prints, just mist, just distance. Then another voice, closer. "Dude, where'd you go?" It was Alex, but younger. Too young. Like from a recording 10 years old. Before his voice deepened. Before he lost that part of himself. I spun. The woods repeated everything, but not in the right order. My steps started echoing, but not immediately. They looped, a second late, then a second early, like someone trying to guess how I moved. Then I saw 3 figures, all in the same jackets, same pants, same posture, same boots, but none of them breathed. I held my hand up. They didn't move. I whistled once, sharp, my signal, my last thread, and one of them answered, perfectly. Same notes, same timing, and then the second answered, same, then the third. I couldn't tell which one I'd whistled at, or which had answered first, and then I realized they were all waiting, watching, mimicking. They didn't want to come to me. They wanted me to come to them. One of them tilted his head, like he had just learned how, and whispered, barely above the wind, close enough. I didn't move, couldn't. My legs felt like wood. My breath didn't fog anymore. The air had stopped reacting to me. The 3 shapes still stood ahead, not moving, not waiting, just watching, like trees with skin, like echoes with faces. One of them took a step. The sound came first, then the motion, a second apart, like someone running sound and video separately. The step landed, and the leaves moved a moment later. I turned to run, but the woods stretched. Trees pulled farther. The trail behind me bent left, then again, then vanished. I passed the same stump twice, then 3 times. My hands bled from a branch that wasn't there a moment ago. I found my own footprints, circling, a spiral, tightening, closing. I stopped. I whistled again, once, clear, loud. Then I waited. Nothing came, not right away. Then, far off, another whistle. Mine, from deep in the trees, then closer, then behind me, then beside me. I turned and saw no one, but I heard something else, breathing. Not animal, not afraid, patient, practiced, learning. I whispered my own name, just to hear something real. The trees said it back, with my voice, in 100 broken rhythms. Then something whispered, deep in my ear. No lips, no heat, just wait. It said only this: "Your turn." Then silence. I blinked. I was standing still again. Same forest, same light, same cold. But I wasn't cold anymore. My hands weren't cut. My breath was still. I walked to the stump, sat down, waited, and soon I heard footsteps. Slow, searching, new. I didn't move, I didn't speak. I just watched. And when they called out, lost and tired and afraid, I smiled, took a breath, and whistled. I'm 38 years old. I've lived in the same cabin for almost 6 years. Deep in the eastern Tennessee stretch of the Appalachian Range. No town nearby. No paved road. Closest thing to neighbors are elk and things that don't show up in trail cameras. The cabin belonged to my grandfather. He died here in 1991, alone. They said it was a heart attack, but the way they found his body didn't sit right. He was outside, kneeling, hands in the dirt, eyes open, mouth shut tight like he knew something was trying to crawl in. He was staring toward the forest, not into it, just at the edge, that line where the trees stop, where the shadows begin. I moved in 6 years ago. I didn't come to mourn. I came to forget. After 2 deployments, the noise didn't stop even when I came home. This place, it was quiet, no traffic, no people, just trees and cold, the kind that wraps around you and lets you breathe again. First year was good. I built routine, chopped wood, fished, repaired the roof, watched the fog roll in every morning and burn off by noon. The second year, I started noticing patterns, The tree line never changed. The forest never crept closer. No matter how much rain, how much wind, it just held. The grass between the trees and the porch grew like any other field, but the first pine never moved. Same one, same shape. I took photos, lined up the shots month to month. Zero difference, dead still. Something about that felt wrong. Forests change. They live. They shift. But not this one. Not past that first line. Year 3, the sounds began. Only after midnight. Only when the fire was out. A low hum, like bees in the walls. But I had no walls. Just wood. Just stone. The hum would rise slowly, then stop. Like someone holding their breath just outside the window. Then came the knock. Once. From deep in the trees. Same time, same rhythm, every few nights, 3 seconds apart, always 3 knocks. Never closer, never louder, but never farther. Like something practicing. Like something waiting for a signal. I ignored it. Drank more. Slept less. Told myself it was birds. Wood shifting. Wind. But deep down I knew better. I'd heard waiting before. On patrol. Out in desert nights when things learned your patterns. I started walking the line every morning, checking the first pine, same tree, same shape, but it wasn't bark anymore. It was smoother, like skin stretched tight over old bone. I stopped touching it after that. On the 5th year, the knocking changed. It moved. Not closer, not louder, just sideways, like it came from around me instead of in front. I stopped going out after dark. I sealed the windows, salted the porch, burned sage even though I didn't believe in it. I marked time, each knock, each sound, patterns, pages full of scratchings, but the nights got longer, and one morning I found prints in the frost, barefoot, human, but long, like the toes had grown past what they should. They stopped at the pine and turned back. I set up cameras, every angle, motion sensors. They never triggered. But the prints kept appearing, always facing the cabin, never running, just watching. I wrote it off, told myself I was slipping, until I heard the voice. It happened on a Wednesday, or at least I think it was. I don't keep a real calendar anymore, just tally marks in the back of a drawer. But I remember the sky that morning, thick gray, not storm clouds, not overcast, just still, like the sky forgot how to move. I stepped outside like I always do, mug in hand, cold biting my teeth, eyes on the tree line, always the tree line. I saw movement this time, not fast, not loud, just enough. A flicker between 2 trunks, like someone leaned out and leaned back in. I froze, waited, nothing. I stepped off the porch, 20 yards, stood at the edge of the line, the first pine still there, still smooth, still wrong. I whispered something, not sure why, just a name maybe, my name. The wind didn't move, but something else did, a voice, from deep inside, my own voice. It said my name back, not like an echo, like someone trying it out, like it was new in their mouth. I ran back inside, locked the door, boarded the windows again. I waited until sunset. Then I went back to the tapes. I don't watch them live anymore. Can't. But I check frames, still by still, camera 6, facing the edge, 3 nights ago. 1 frame skipped, just 1. And in it, a figure. Still, thin, arms too long, knees bent wrong, like it stood halfway between crawling and walking. The next frame, gone. The tree line again. I played it back 10 times, frame by frame, and every time I stopped, it looked closer. I shut it off, burned the SD card. Didn't help. That night, the knocking came again. But it wasn't from the woods. It was from under the floorboards. Same rhythm, same pause, then a 4th knock, then silence. I didn't sleep. I couldn't. I watched the window until the sun came up, but the sun was late, by almost an hour. I checked the clock. It hadn't moved. but my breath was visible, and the frost was rising, crawling up the inside of the glass. I checked my hands. They looked normal, until I saw the nails. Longer, dirt under them. Not mine. Not from here. Then I saw the drawing. On the inside of the wall, scratched into the wood, a face, long, blank, with lines down both sides like roots or scars. I didn't draw it. I never saw it before, but it was old. The carving had dust, had age, had time. I stepped back, tripped, hit the floor, and heard the breath. Not mine, not above, below. The board swelled, like something was rising. I didn't move, not for minutes, maybe hours. When I stood, I was holding a photo. A face, long, blank, with lines down both sides like roots or scars. I didn't draw it. I never saw it before, but it was old. The carving had dust, had age, had time. I stepped back, tripped, hit the floor, and heard the breath. Not mine, not above, below. The board swelled, like something was rising. I didn't move, not for minutes, maybe hours. When I stood, I was holding a photo. Not mine, one I'd never seen. A younger me, standing at the edge of the tree line, smiling, but wrong. My eyes were off, too wide, my mouth too tight, and my hand was holding another hand. But no one else was in the picture. Just a dark shape, just a suggestion. I tried to burn the photo. It wouldn't catch. I tore it. It bled. Not ink, not photo paper, just something wet and dark. I buried it under the porch. Didn't say a word. That night I heard my name again, from just outside the window. Same voice, same breath. But this time it asked a question. Just one. Are you ready? I didn't answer. But my mouth moved anyway. I didn't answer out loud, but something in me did. I know that now. The night passed like molasses. No wind, no creaks, no forest sounds. Just weight. A heaviness behind the walls. Like the whole cabin had been moved inches deeper into the earth without waking me. The next morning felt too still. My breath was gone. I exhaled, but there was nothing to show for it. My boots were dry, but the floor was wet. A thin film of condensation on the wood, like the house had been holding something in overnight. Something warm, something not meant to be here. I checked the door. Unlocked. I always lock the door. Always. I walked the porch. Looked out at the trees. They were different. Same placement. Same spacing. But somehow younger. Thinner. Taller. Like time had been replaced. Like memory had skipped. And the pine, the first pine, was no longer smooth. It had a shape now. Not carved, grown, a bulge, a twist, like something inside had moved too fast for the bark to hold. I blinked. It was closer, not by feet, not by yards, by years. I looked at my hands again. New wrinkles, old scars missing. I checked the photo I'd hidden under the porch. It wasn't buried anymore. It was nailed to the door. My own face staring back, but aged wrong, like it had never stopped aging, like it had waited longer than I'd ever lived. I didn't scream. I couldn't. My throat was too dry, or maybe too full. With words I hadn't spoken yet, I packed my bag. I decided to leave, but the car wouldn't start. No power. The keys didn't fit the ignition. The tires were gone. I don't remember driving here, but I know I did. The footprints in the frost were mine, until they weren't, until they turned, and walked back to the trees. That night, I lit every candle. The fire flared, then died. The shadows stayed still, except one, in the corner of the room. It stretched longer than it should, taller, the kind of shape cast by something standing just behind your shoulder. I didn't turn around. I asked one question, not with words, just with thought. What do you want? And the answer came slow, from the floor, from the pine, from the part of me that had already crossed. It said, to be let in. I whispered no, but my hand unlocked the door. It opened without sound, just air, cold and wrong, and behind it, me, or something close. My face, my posture, my jacket, but not my eyes. They blinked too slow, too deliberate, like learning. I stepped backward, but the cabin didn't have walls anymore, just trees. The logs turned to bark, the floor to moss. I wasn't inside anymore, or maybe I never had been. Maybe the whole thing was a stage, a waiting room, and my turn had finally come. The thing that wore me stepped forward, and I didn't run. I watched, I listened. And when it opened its mouth, I heard every breath I'd ever taken, played back in perfect reverse. I closed my eyes and stepped forward too, not into the forest, not into the figure, into the space it left behind, the shape it carved in the cold, the one I'd been growing toward my whole life. I think I've always lived at the tree line. I just didn't know which side I was on, but now I do. Now I wait. And when the next one comes, when the next door opens, I will knock, once, twice, then 3 times, and I will whisper, with a mouth made of bark and bone and breath. Are you ready?